degree, having lightning and wind in place of forest and shadow, the existence of these sages tied to a specific prowess goes in line with referencing the sages that existed time and time again throughout Zelda's original history. The originals deriving from separate nations, soaring allegiance.
It's only been a while, but I actually don't remember where I am supposed to be right now.
In times of war, the sages of a new generation having to awaken to the sages' call emanating from a source within the temples tied to the element.
Alright, let's just get to
the Ocarina of Time. Rauru existing as a separate sage of light. Rauru in the original continuity was the entity of that of an ancient sage, one who helped build the Temple of Time over the remains of the Sealed Temple, originally known as the Temple of Hyrule, the Sealed Verticals. He was also the Sage of Light and had his own domain within the sacred realm of the Temple of Light, when a chamber of sages existed in its innermost sanctum. In the original reality, he acted as counsel and guide to both Link and the other sages through Princess Zelda in order to stop Ganondorf and to reach Hyrule. In the Lost Timeline, the alternate tale is that Rauru is now the Zonai, descended from the heavens among his people, eventually founding the Kingdom of Hyrule as its first king, and also acted as a Sage of Light and King of Light. His abilities amplified by the Secret Stone. Given his appearance within the timeline is incredibly early in this Hyrule's history, it actually goes in line with a very similar time frame where Rauru appeared in the original continuity when it comes to when Hyrule was founded. Going beyond, there's even whispers that the true identity of Rauru from the original timeline is that to have been the founder king of Hyrule, given his close connection to the Triforce, his adornment and adoption of
I have saved strong.
and that the earliest known royal family member of the established kingdom of Hyrule in the original reality was that of King Gustav.
I'm looking through the walkthrough right now, just in case there's something special I should be doing in this dungeon. Anything other than the thingies I did. Oops. Ah. Right, here we go. I need to talk to something called the eldest one before going to the 5th stratum. Alright, now that we have the moon key, we can go back to the place where we originally met that guy. Right. And I'll sweep through the chests here some other time. somewhere in the middle. Ah, here it is. Should also double check my map and see if I actually mapped everything correctly. There's a whole section at the top, but that's only after I get the moon key, I'm pretty sure. I can't proceed until I...
That of King Gustav, ruled during the Force era and was greatly connected to the Wind Tribe. Though he lived ages before the events of the Finnish cap, it is agreed upon that he was not a founder king. So given King Robert's backstory, the lost timeline and connection can run deep into the Atlanteans. These are among the biggest examples of the alternate connected tales and references, but there are also smaller ones, such as the Rito area, along with Dungeon and Boss that references the Woodmaker, the Secret Stones referencing the Sage Medallions, and Zelda's Eyes of Hunter Complication referencing that of Thor's Mask. Possibly connected to the manga by Akira Hamikawa, where Majora was originally a dragon-like entity. This would be the first manga-inspired video games. The channels of time are never isolated to one path, with the flow of history ever expanding within the Legend of Zelda. To have this lost timeline become a unique alternative singular existence to pull inspiration and implementation from any known stories are cool, in order for them to become legend is something I feel to be true. The destiny bound to the land of Hyrule will always see events transpire in one shape or form. It is much like courage, that sometimes it need not be remembered, for it is truly never forgotten.
Yoshi,
Sure.
while the sales numbers speak for themselves, there's another surefire way to tell that you made a winning formula: copycats. Nearly every company with a copyrighted character is more than willing to throw them into a kart racer. Other game series jumped at the chance to capitalize on Mario Kart's success, and most of them do it pretty gracefully. Many will come up with their own mechanics or put a quite unique spin on the formula so that it's not just Mario Kart but different. But then others, that'll be $59.99. The dreaded licensed game, throwing characters into a game with no real care and...
I'll be right back.
Licensed game, throwing characters into a game with no real care and just shipping it out. I mean, hey, it has the word cart and sponge angle bomb on it. It's gotta do well, right? Today's video is sponsored by Opera GX. No one wants to be boring, so why are you over there still using that boring old web browser? I'm pleased to tell you all about Opera GX. Modern browsers are absolute performance hogs, but with Opera GX, you can take control of your resources and enhance your PC's performance. By popping open the GX control panel, you can raise or lower the amount of CPU or RAM the browser uses, freeing up resources for the rest of your PC to use. And remember the days of gaming magazines? GX Corner takes that concept and tosses it right onto your browser, showing you news, upcoming game releases, and games like Genshin Impact or
I may as well.
Composer Pro. And with GX Mods, you can make this browser truly your own. You can check out the GX store to browse all kinds of pre-made themes, or you can customize your own by choosing colors, background music, and even keyboard sounds. So make sure you click that link down below and download Opera GX today. Hello Kitty Cruisers was a game released for smartphones in January of 2014, and just a few months later in March, had a console release for the Wii U. You can kind of tell the game was primarily a mobile game that they decided last minute to also throw on Wii U, because it had one of the smallest physical releases that you've ever seen. In fact, the physical prints were in such low supply that this game for a while became one of the holy grails for Wii U collectors, sometimes being bought for well over $200. The scarcity created some crazy news articles, and word of mouth spread about this randomly rare Hello Kitty game, and this caused the developers to jump at the opportunity. Hello Kitty Cruisers with Sanrio Friends released for the Switch in April 2018 in Europe and May 2018 in North America. But I think the developers missed the whole point of why this game was notable. Now, Hello Kitty is no stranger to licensed games. The IP is so popular all over the world that it would be a waste to not try. But honestly, they just shouldn't have tried. When I say this game is bland, I feel bad for the word bland. This game is so slow and controls so poorly, I'm convinced that my controller is broken half the time. When you run through an item box, they didn't even bother pretending to have a little item roulette. A PNG of the item just appears in the corner. And you can really tell that this was a mobile game that they didn't improve graphically at all. I'm not even playing the game on my phone, this is just a YouTube video of the Switch version. The game has 3 basic modes. Quick Race has you jump into a race on any given track. Tournament is their version of Grand Prix mode, playing 4 races in a tour to garner the most points, and Adventure mode, which consists of a bunch
Was
of
it free to
missions,
play?
which is the main way to unlock different cars. But there was zero creativity or extra effort put into Adventure mode. There
Well,
are
the
only
Wii U
3
era
mission
was
types.
still the
Either complete a
infancy
time
of
trial,
mobile
collect
gaming,
cupcakes
still.
or apples or whatever, or race through all the races.
There were
Not to
definitely
brag,
already
but it took me only 30 minutes to get through every single mission. Like, the amount of gameplay this
some
game has is bad even by
free-to-play
mobile game standards.
games that
For
are
some
very
reason,
similar
this
to
game
our
took
modern
inspiration
games.
from Diddy Kong Racing and gave 3 different
Free-to-play
types of vehicles,
model.
carts, planes, and boats. But it makes the same mistake that many games that offer different vehicles do. They're just kind of pointless. Diddy Kong Racing actually does something with the different vehicles, offering different mechanics and routes depending on your vehicle choice.
I want to try doubling.
They do nothing outside of offer some controls, but I can go up and down, offer some controls, but the controls are even shittier. This genuinely feels like they were assigned this game 6 months ago and left it for the week before and just threw something together. The quality control is so bad. The AI at points is so stupid that nearly every other racer will get stuck on a wall and just never make any more progress for the rest of the race. And if you know what those AI are going through, that's impressive, because you do not want to touch walls in this game. You touch a wall and you're transported inside of a black hole to live out the rest of your days as string cheese. It feels like re-releasing this on the Switch was just a total misunderstanding of why people were buying this game on the Wii U. It wasn't the crazy gameplay people were having a blast with. It was just a collector's item, something rare people can brag about owning while it sits in the plastic wrap to literally never be played. Warped Kart Racers is another Mario Kart clone released for mobile devices, but dare I say, this one is actually kinda good. It features a crossover of 4 different Fox television brands: Family Guy, American Dad, King of the Hill, and Solar Opposites. It was released exclusively as a part of the Apple Arcade subscription service, so it has a bit higher of a quality standard than your average mobile game. The
EF
game
can
doesn't
actually
try
command
to hide
herself,
that it's a
so
Mario Kart clone. It literally
assuming that's how this
uses
works.
clamshells for
Otherwise,
some
it's
of
gonna
the
get kinda
items. I mean,
fun.
it's really in your face. But if you consider the source material, most of the shows from this crossover are known for their use of parody, so I would expect nothing less than parodying Mario Kart in their literal Mario Kart clone game. Genuinely, I'm shocked at how good of a game this is, both as a Mario Kart game and a mobile game, especially after playing. It's a little surreal to be controlling a kart racer and having it feel both fluid and responsive, especially when you primarily play this on a touchscreen. But after a cup or two, I completely ignored that because I found out you can just play this game with a controller. Touch controls are generally inferior, so if the touch controls feel good, you know the standard controls will too. Frankly, if this game was released as a small console game, I'd probably pick it up knowing I'd have a good time. It kinda sucks it's stuck on a subscription service that's only found on iPhones. Warped Kart Racers really excels in character dialogue. Everyone has such silly little things to say, their dances and reactions, it just makes it feel more like you are actually playing as these characters. What adds to this are the fun references in the kart parts, and the maps are great representations of the worlds that these characters are from, even if the tracks themselves are a little basic. But I guess I can give them a pass for that. It's a phone game, so they can't be too complex. The campaign for the game has you go through their equivalent of Mario Kart CCs, but they further divided into 4 missions for each property, allowing you to unlock racers and kart parts that come from that respective series. There are standard races, but there's also a battle mode similar to Mario Kart's, and it has a multiplayer mode that actually has regular seasons with new content introduced. The only problem is you'll probably be playing against the same 5 other people who actively play this game online. Being a mobile game, you'd expect this to shove the microtransactions down your throat, but as a part of the Apple Arcade subscription service, this isn't the case. Apple Arcade goes against your typical mobile game setup. There are no ads and no microtransactions. Because of this, the gameplay and the gameplay loop feel a bit higher quality than some other mobile kart racers. You just get to play. You don't have to worry about not doing well in a certain challenge because you didn't spend real-life money on a racer that's only available for 3 to 5 business days. Those types of games really build the gameplay around the microtransactions, while Warped Kart just kind of feels like they wanted to make a fun game. Truly, my only complaint with this game was the touch controls. Even then, they were pretty good, and being able to use a PS5 controller just made my only complaint go away. Okay, but now it's time to stop playing a good game and start playing a great game. Garfield Kart. Garfield Kart was released for
What?
3DS, smartphones, and PC back in 2013. What's the difference, you may ask? Absolutely nothing. I guess the 3DS version does have that second screen, but outside of that, these games are all the exact same game that play the exact same way. 6 years later, and I guess the developers found a way to squeeze just a little more out of perfection, because Garfield Kart Furious Racing was released for PC and modern consoles in November 2019. And they knew they made perfection because this game is literally just a remake of the original with prettier graphics. It has the same courses and racers as the original. You can play as Garfield, or John, or Odie, or this cat that eats garbage. And you can race in iconic locales such as the park, the city, and, Egypt. The game does use items in sort of a cool way. The Y and B buttons both handle items, with the Y button throwing them
Damn.
forward and the B button backward. But sometimes these items won't be thrown, they'll instead be used by your racer. With the spring item, for instance, you can throw it backwards and essentially use it as a banana peel from Mario Kart. But if you use the forward button, it will instead give you a hop that you can use to avoid items, grab collectibles, or access shortcuts. But playing it, I think maybe I changed my mind. This game is just sort of a forgettable clone. It's not horribly offensive to play, but it's just really not that great of a time either. FBI, open up! I would like to formally apologize for my previous statements. I've seen the error of my ways completely of my own free will, and I just want to state for the record that Garfield Kart is one of the greatest works of art that all of humanity has ever created. With all of the properties that Disney owns, it's no surprise that they throw them at any and every game opportunity they can. The Kart Racer is no exception.
I guess that's good.
Disney Speedstorm is a free-to-play kart racer featuring dozens of Disney characters. Basically, if you've seen them in Kingdom Hearts, there's a strong chance that they're already in this game or will show up later on, because a huge feature of this game is season passes. To no one's surprise, being free-to-play and being made by Disney, the game is rife with microtransactions. You can purchase characters, cards, and skins, along with a loot box mechanic. I haven't dived too deep into the character comparisons, so I have no idea if this game ultimately becomes pay to win. But it's a Disney game, so it wouldn't surprise me. Ideally, it would operate like Fortnite, where your character, card, and skin all really don't matter that much, and your ability in the game is more important. But that doesn't seem to be the case, because this game actually has kind of an intricate system. Each core driver falls into a different category of either speedster, trickster, brawler, or defender. These categories affect the character's stats, but it also impacts the items that they can pick up from the item boxes.
Let me
Crew
see
members can
Blitz
also be unlocked,
command
which provide additional
a little
bonuses
bit
to an item's
more
effectiveness.
closely.
So there's a little more strategy involved here than your standard Mario Kart clone. Figuring out which crew members work well with a certain racer's item pool is pretty key. The atmosphere is also great, and again I'm reminded of Kingdom Hearts with the variety of tracks and how many different series are
She has
represented.
ordered
I
herself
personally have
to
always
attack.
loved the old school Disney cartoons, so I was happy to see the black and white stage representing that era. Nearly every track has multiple routes that you can take, which is something I feel other games, and even Mario Kart, don't really utilize as much as
But
they
apparently
could.
Tailstar can waste her
Gameplay-wise,
etheric
there's
charge.
nothing horrible here. The game is incredibly focused on your boost
Oh no,
ability,
that wasn't
which is
etheric
always
charge,
shown
that's just
using
her
the bar on
passive
top. Things like
elemental
drifting,
damage
doing
weakness
tricks,
boost
or
thing.
riding on these weird anti-gravity rails let you build up your boost meter, and when it's full, you can activate it. As a free-to-play game, I'd say this is absolutely worth checking out, but be prepared for sensory overload and microtransactions everywhere you look when you're in the actual menus. Another company that is no stranger to licensing out their characters is Nickelodeon. Platform fighters, 3D platformers, even crossovers and collaborations in other games. But in the last 5 years, the world was introduced to Nickelodeon Kart Racers. The game's so nice, they made it twice. And then one more time. This series isn't their first time making Mario Kart clones. They've made a few in the past. But these three together are something special. They really tell a story. 2018 saw the release of Nickelodeon Kart.
How do I get their unique drops? I kinda need them. Where the hell is Maiden and Deep Raider? Unless their name is different. Ah, here they are. Kill while arms are bound. Kill with strike. I can kill someone with strike. As for the arm bind, I'm gonna have to hope for the best there. Oh, nice. Never mind, I got everything. Perish. Where do I get spearhead chips? Don't tell me it's from a boss. Apparently the Deep Medium and Deep Marines in B13 are how I'll get them. I'll deal with that later.
Nickelodeon Kart Racers 1, but it barely qualifies as a crossover. Only 4 different Nickelodeon series are present here, with only 12 racers, and 25% of those are Ninja Turtles, who are cool, but also effectively look like the same character.
Also, the game looks horrifying. What did they do to Spring Danglodog?
Oh my goodness! But actually racing in the game is okay. It's not amazing, but we've covered far worse just in this video. Slime also plays an interesting role in this game, where you'll have sections of slime on the track. When you ride through these slime sections, your slime meter grows, cut into three parts, and you can use the slime to activate a small boost. It works alright, but again, it's not really something that's exciting. The coolest part is that there are whole slime river sections, and your character's vehicle will turn into a boat, which is a rare time when the transformation into a boat actually makes sense, and it doesn't feel like they did it just because they can. I don't think I can overstate how painfully average this game felt. I wasn't having a blast. I don't think I'd even say I was having fun, but I did get permanent retina damage from the neon green of this load screen. And I guess that's exactly what the doctor ordered, because this game sold well enough for them to order a sequel. Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix. This game had a huge overhaul where they basically completely reworked the entire game. They more than doubled the character roster up to 30 playable characters from 12 different Nickelodeon shows and JoJo Siwa for some reason. First, the physics have been reworked, which makes driving feel a lot nicer. The slime meter still exists in this game, but instead of being tied to a simple boost mechanic, the game now implements a pit crew sort of system, with a primary chief and 2 minor crew members. The primary chief offers an ability that can be activated when your slime meter is at maximum, while the minor crew members have a periodic, less impactful effect that occurs on limit. I actually really like the way this works. It offers a great level of strategy, and it does it in a more in-depth way than Disney Speedstorm. Rather than just improving the effectiveness of certain items, you actually gain different effects, like gaining an instant boost if you get hit by an item, or earning a bonus item from an item box. It lets you prioritize your style of play, but it isn't overpowered either because each effect can only be activated once the cooldown is finished. But man, this game still has its problems, and the worst part is I want to like it. The track and character variety, the music, the crew mechanic, this is genuinely a game I can find myself enjoying and playing regularly. But it just runs so badly. Some tracks you'll have a buttery smooth experience, but then others you'll hit sections that dig you down into your grandfather's childhood slide projector. But somehow, despite all of this, a third entry was made as well. And this one solves the biggest problem that everybody had. It finally adds voice acting. Yeah, the first 2 games had absolutely 0 voice acting, making the games feel completely silent and empty. I guess this is just standard practice for Nickelodeon games, because another particular game, also featuring Nickelodeon characters, had this exact same problem. This game sports 40 different characters from 19 Nicktoons and 90 crew characters, tons of new and returning tracks, and it's their 3rd game in the series. So with all of these improvements, it's gotta be good, right? I don't know how, after 3 games, this is the worst that the series has run. This version of the game doesn't even feel like it was made for Switch like the others. It genuinely feels like a quick and dirty port of the PlayStation or Xbox versions. Maybe it runs well on those, but when your whole shtick is Mario Kart but different, you'd think you'd want to put up some kind of fighting chance on the console that literally has Mario Kart on it. No, that's it. After 3 tries, I'm done. Nickelodeon, I gave you a solid chance, but you brought me to my wit's end. And now, I'm gonna do the unthinkable.
Unbelievable, dude. I'm just not allowed to win. For Red 50, I make a greedy decision and decide not to teach Secret Power to Loudred or Aipom for the Misty fight, because there's a big payoff to teaching it to another Pokemon in the way. After Loudred uses Howl with 4 pounds to take down the Staryu, it's on to the real demon of this fight, the Starmie. Status Heal Berries are my best friend in many fights throughout this run, and this one is no different. A Prison Berry on my seal allows me to shrug off a Water Pulse Confusion and get a couple of speed drops with Icy Wind. I continue my
think Life
Scepters
Bind
and
is
Tail
the
Whips,
least
which is a
useful
combination of
bind,
words that no
at least
one
for us,
has
the
ever said in
players.
their video before.
For enemies,
Next, switch to
any
The
bind
calculus
is
here is
terrible
pretty
in its
simple.
own different flavor.
Hit Hypnosis and put Starmie to sleep, or Miss Hypnosis, die. Both outcomes allow me to switch Aipom in without taking Water Pulse, swinging the tempo in my favor. Because Hoothoot is quite expendable, I determine the risk of losing it for the rest of the run is worth the basically guaranteed win. Fortunately, I get the worst of the 2 potential outcomes, but I'm still feeling good moving into Surge. But first, there's this really creative guarded encounter that I have to pick up. Surrounding this tiny patch of grass are a bunch of spinners that you have to avoid to get your encounter. It did cost me a run all the way back at run 22. One of these spinners has a Magneton, and that's pretty tough to handle at this point in the game. dual fire types, ground types, and fighting types. This time though, I make it through and I'm rewarded with a Pichu. Eventually this will be very nice for all the bird keepers in the mid-game gauntlets. Unfortunately, it's adamant
It's a lot of
Pichu using its
monsters.
special attack. Surely that won't matter though, right? Speaking of birds, remember what I said about not needing food? I get to the SSN and realize I'm in severe lack of an Ivysaur counter for the rival fight. Insomnia Hooters is one of the only consistent answers to the sleep powder spammer here. In retrospect, I should have sacrificed Delibird on Stormy instead. Thankfully, my Koffing wakes up early and prints through the Ivysaur. I was initially underwhelmed by my Koffing pickup back on Route 3, where Ekans or Nidoran had seemed like the best option in past runs. Ekans and Nidoran get Bite to better deal with other poison types, while Koffing is limited to pretty much only bad moves, and Ekans' Sheds can be super useful against all the status conditions of the Goblins. You might wonder why I'm stressing so hard over a poison type. Not only do a lot of poison types have mediocre stats, but outside of Sludge Bomb, poison type attack moves are awful. But you might remember from your playthroughs of this game, opposing teams were absolutely loaded with poison types. There's no overworld poison damage in Garbage Green, luckily, but poison is still a terrifying status effect. There are berries available to heal poison, but the creator only put a very small amount of them in the
Hey,
game
Spearhead
and
Jim.
removed all ways to regenerate them. His job can't just be to serve as a poison immune switch in them, it has to actually make an offensive impact, and I just wasn't sure Koffing could do it. Run number 50 though, made me rethink everything I thought I knew about Garbage Green's poison types. The SSN, like other goblins, locks you in until you complete it. And because the SSN leaves when you complete it, you cannot come back to these items later. I don't feel clear
The
this time,
encounter
but I
rate is
do grab
absurdly high here
a
in it as well.
Dragon Fang and 2 essential Ketchup berries before dipping to fight Surge. This dude has been a massive problem for this generation. There is no opportunity to get the ground type that would make this fight trivial. Even Diglett Cave nearly has Dunsparce. The creator even fucking named it Dunsparce Cave. And this is how Vanilla Lieutenant Surge, with nothing but his Voltorb, Pikachu, and Raichu, became the deadliest fight in the game. In a world of trash, Dunsparce may actually be king. Naturally, I was
Dang,
nervous.
that was quick.
Let's watch. That might have looked like the most free gym fight you'll ever see. It was a one-button sweep after all. But the fact that I'm relying on rollout at all tells you just how rough this fight is. With 90% accuracy, vanilla rollout is scary enough to put your faith in. But this is Garbage Green, and the creator has tested this strat. Dunsparce would just be too strong to get access to him this good. Instead, rollout's new accuracy is 70%, and the odds for the fight you just saw drop from this. I thank my lucky stars and get ready for the rest of the game. This is a pretty significant victory. Only 19 of the first 49 runs got this far. By Pokemon Garbage Green standards, this is already a pretty significant run. Route 8 is another critical encounter, Chinchu. I'll absolutely need another electric type for all the flyers, but unfortunately, it's a jolly nature. Surely another special attack reducing nature on an electric type won't matter, right? While Joseph Campbell rapidly spins in his grave for my overuse of this stupid fucking narrative device, let's look forward to the next encounter, coming up in Rock Tunnel. For the first 49 runs, no single encounter has been a better signal of a run's ability to get to the Elite Four. Here I have the potential to catch the creator's greatest oversight, Larvitar. I caught Larvitar in Rock Tunnel 8 times, and 3 times that encounter took me to the Elite Four. Larvitar only gets one evolution in this game. Pupitar, though, is one of the best Pokemon available in the game. The best attacking rock type for sure. Holding onto Larvitar's ground type is nice too, as it makes for a great stab Earthquake spammer. A role that is still important, even after Earthquake had his PP significantly reduced, just like a— OW! Fuck! Oh! Sorry, my editor's put a shock collar on me that triggers every time I try to write a penis joke in my script. So here we are, at Rock Tunnel, on Run 50. I played a greedy Misty and didn't get punished. I got the clean rollout sweep against Surge. But everything I know about this game so far tells me none of that matters if I don't get Larvitar right here. Getting Onix here at least means I have a rock type that can deal with the many bird keepers on the upcoming gauntlets, as well as a Pokemon that switches into every single normal type of bees. Onix is the most defensively capable of the Rock Tunnel rocks, but it feels terrible to have to rely on that abysmal 45 attack stat for what should be one of the best attacking types in the game. In Vanilla Fire Red and Leaf Green, this is where the game would open up to you. The player has the option to head to Celadon City and do some shopping, take on Erica, go to the city, the dojo, go to Sabrina, the Safari Zone, Koga, all more or less whatever order you want. You know, all that fake non-linearity that all the old heads praise about Gen 1 and 2, even though it completely destroyed the difficulty curve of those games. Garbage Green's design, however, forces the player into a linear path. Erica's gym is blocked by a Snorlax, and the exit via Cycling Road, as well as the entrance to the building that hands out tea for the Saffron Guards, are blocked by NPCs claiming to belong to Koga. Looks like we have to wake up the Lax first. So we have to go to Pokemon Tower to get the flute, which means we have to go to Rocket Hideout. And with this begins the gauntlet heaviest phase of the run. Rocket Hideout is a miserable experience. But unlike every other attempt, I have a trick up my sleeve. A secret power. It's secret power coughing. This is by far the most efficient way to deal with poison types we've had so far. The fact that coughing has the defensive capabilities to deal with other poison types while striking pretty good damage with secret power makes it invaluable for these gauntlets. However, disaster strikes before Giovanni, as these grunts at his door heavily weaken my team before I can go into the boss fight. Unable to heal, I'm forced to just run up and hope that Chinchu gets something done.
My god.
Chinchu would obliterate Giovanni's Rhyhorn and Onix with even a neutral special attack nature.
It'd have been nice to at least the spear had droppers.
And Chinchu was forced to take 2 otherwise avoidable poison takes, ending in this incredibly useful Pokemon's demise. But that's not nearly all. The gang/gym leader's Kangaskhan proceeds to go crazy on the rest of the team, with mega punches ripping through Dunsparce, who manages to paralyze it before going down. Khan tears down Beldum and Loudred next, as I frantically try to use them to chip away at the Marsupial's massive HP pool. Finally, bringing it low enough for Onix to finish the job, as the Rock type survives with almost nothing left. Do you see this team screen of the Giovanni fight? This is why these gauntlets were so intense. Things don't get any easier though. Rocket Hideout was tough, ending 2 runs in the past already. Lavender Tower, where the game forces me next, it took down 5. Pokemon Tower essentially consists of 4 different layers of bullshit that your team of 6 needs to be able to dig through without healing in between. Layer 1, the Rival Moon. Sporting a Gyarados and a deadly Archery Kadabra, as well as a sleep powder spamming Ivysaur, means that you're probably taking heavy damage on this fight and have to dedicate a lot of firepower and team slots to get reach the first team. It's beatable, but it limits your options right from the get-go. My Pikachu and Thunderbolt is very nice here, but unfortunately Thunderbolt also had its PP decimated, meaning you have to be really careful what you use them for. Layer 2, the Channelers. These creepy ladies might seem quite beatable at first glance because they all have basically the same Pokemon, but the Ghastly sets in particular are actually quite annoying. Their only real damaging move is Nightshade, meaning you can just bring a normal type to wall their attacks. However, the normal type also needs to be able to kill the Ghastly very quickly. 1, because the Ghastly can use Confuse Ray to slow you down from killing them and whittle away your limited HP. 2, they can use Spite after you hit them to greatly reduce the limited PP you have on your damaging moves. 3, the worst case, assuming they have more than half their HP left, they can use Curse and deal an instant 25% damage to you. Order of your health is crazy when you consider the sheer number of Ghastlies you fight here. Basically, what I'm saying is Pokemon Tower is exactly like reading YouTube comments. I have an advantage on attempt 50 though. Spell Tag Apom. In Garbage Green, the Spell Tag is an optional item that you can pick up in Rock Tunnel if you fight 2 additional trainers at the end of the cave's corridor. If you try to go back to this item later, it will no longer be available. You see, it just so turns out that an Apom with a 10% boost to its ghost type attacks can actually outspeed and one-shot a lot of these Ghastlies using Astonish. Layer 3, the Marowak. As you pass the obviously non-functional heal pad, you must next face the terror that is Marowak. It's level 30, and because of Park Corner's like rules, I cannot allow my Pokemon to surpass level 29, the level of Urka's Vileplume. Whenever one of my Pokemon overlevels the next gym leader, I have to box it until I beat that gym leader. This Marowak outputs terrifying amounts of damage. Grass types do really well against it, but are otherwise terrible for the rest of the tower, and you only have 6 team slots. I throw my Shroomish at it, getting as much deep sea chip as I can until it falls. Apom can finally finish it off, but not before overleveling and essentially making it undead with unusable Pokemon until I can finish the match. I have 4 Pokemon left for later, 4 points. As you enter the final floor for the 4 League Speaker team, you're greeted with one last set of trainers before you begin. These fights are really forgettable in vanilla, but goddamn will I remember every Pokemon on these teams until the day that I die. Every single time I enter this floor, and any of my attempts, my team looks like this. Like this. Or like this. Okay, sorry, that's my new passport photo. I don't know how that got in there. I am extremely low on firepower, and sacrifice my Rattata for some tempo on Golbat, and I should have used my last Thunderbolt PP on the mindset. I take one more big risk by Thunderbolting this coughing that is not unlikely to explode, and then my own coughing manages to somehow scrape out a victory on the final one. I'm not letting Great coming out of the tower. one that is considering the hardest gauntlet heaviest part of the game this far. The good news, I think it's Ditch. It may not have its perfect teammate at Kubitar, duo that power run 34 to the late game, but Vibrava does extremely well in the upcoming gyms, thanks to its access to both flying and dig. Stab dig means we can punch out a lot of different drivers. Stab dig. God! It's also the best Voltron counter in the game, as it basically forces them to explode while it outspeeds and digs out of the way. Using Poke Food, I can visualize one America's gym. Yeah, all setting count as returning to Dittos in this game. Isn't that kinda cute? Like kind of fucking clever. These are legendary birds or Dittos. Ditto dreams. Erica has a fight that's almost impossible to make difficult. Another constraint is imposed for the player here as a result. Only 4 Pokemon can be brought to the battle. With this constraint, Erica was able to end 2 fight runs. 15, 44. For Victor Bell's ability to spread status, especially paralysis, is the most threatening part of the fight, and a huge blow in both legs. But to make matters worse, you also need a cut user to use Gym. I only survived 10 friend 8 bombs with the level, and I won't be able to use it in battle. So it's really just 3 modulators, making me more vulnerable to the different attacks. Once again, Voodoo would actually be really nice to have here. Instead, collecting grass counters to such a degree that I decide my best strategy is to chip away as much as I can from the lead Ditto. Ditto actually builds a really interesting niche in this game. It's terrible for gauntlets, but often can allow you to 1v1 one of a gym leader's Pokemon if you use it correctly. Unfortunately, it gets poisoned immediately and is next to useless. Caution can be used to pull its weight in a big way. Mankey can finish off the battle. The MVP of this one is nearly still common. It's not even remotely done. With the gym battle cleared, Koga's people cleared the way to the second road. Past to Koga goes 2 gauntlets. Go down the second road, taking on a gauntlet full of some of the most annoying figures in the game. Next, we run to Future City just to see the strength to progress. In this game, strength is locked behind another gauntlet. This stretch covering rounds 15, 14, and 13 to make the Lavender count in the city, also known as the 15-13 gauntlet. The second road and the 15-13 gauntlet combined to kill 5 fire runs. Even if they don't kill the run directly, they can leave us without critical Pokemon for future battles. These gauntlets force some of the most critical team building decisions of the entire run. Some Pokemon are easy calls because their typing makes them essentially required, and killing the rest requires me to optimize so many variables. There's who I have access to. How many Pokemon of certain types do I have available? Can I replace them later? Do I have anything that can switch into or wait of any self-destructs I'll face on these rounds? The cycling road is just horrible. There's basically 3 huge splits to deal with. First, fighting types with great damage output, including 2 Machamps, so make sure to keep alive the strongest garbage green flying types, like Tailo. Woo! There's a metric fuck ton of Grimers, Coughings, Mugs, and Hazings. Sheer mass means that if you use a non-poison type, you will get poisoned. Finally, the gauntlet only lets you back out if you manage to also beat all 3 of these burn catchers without right Dodegos. Yeah. This time though, Secret Power Weezing saves us. Weezing, Pikachu, and Poison Tail making a return from EK are forming an unstoppable trio here. Until an adamant nature on Pikachu finally reaches its ugly end. The very last fight, the second road. And Seal's probably like you said for 15 there. 15? I got the burn, dude! Really? Adamant Pikachu strikes again, man. I should have just used Onyx. I got greedy and all that's GG. Survive on 1 HP to survive on 1 HP to burn. That's insane. Okay, so like, yeah, so inside that will be the Perky as well. 15-13 is a gauntlet that just overwhelms with so much shit and possibly everything. There are just too many different kinds of trainers for your 6 shitty Pokemon to have to face, but we have to go for it. I don't care enough to do this stuff. Let's go over it. So let's start actually this thing.
Is the spawn rate maybe related to time?
I could have got the silk scarf now for another dollar, but I was just too lazy.
Let me check something.
Blaze Gaming. Somehow, this is one of the better 15-13 gauntlets I've had. I don't know what the happened. Go ahead and look up the fighting types.
Yeah,
No, just.
those are the clues.
Thank you. What the? I haven't used a recipe yet. What the is happening in this run? This is the
Oh,
most
nice.
frequent I've had in
Oh, I got a
Fusion,
spearhead chip.
in a long time. And somehow I had my best 15-13 gauntlet ever. Now I think
Fall
I
in the hole.
changed my mind. Weezing is amazing. Secret power Weezing is insane. Kobe's team is completely monotype, including for some reason two constants. His team was growing at best, one ending at worst like it was in 2024. When Buck simply set up performance minimizes and all his massive armor squad. Uncritical action. When the Pokemon moves are so limited, it's correct self-destructive rate. In this fight, I choose Manphy, an expendable Pokemon that otherwise would have brought him to the box. Manphy could have literally done nothing and I would have been satisfied. Instead, we roll out AO before going down, which is so damn fun. This game makes you realize the shittiest scraps in your box. Weezing though remains the MVP. It deals solid damage because its force has secret power and it hits surprisingly hard due to the resistance of Stab Sledge. On top of qualifying for one lost condition face to face, the cracks in the Creator's armor are shown. After grabbing the Silk Scarf from one of the easiest optional gauntlets in the game, I turn my attention towards round 12, Dust Ice. It's a high risk, high reward encounter. It can whirl on you at any point, but if you catch it, you have the best poison type counter in the game. So Sabrina, Sprayed Up Agatha, and gets access to Toxic at the fight. Losing out on this and Dark hurts a lot. I'm not that worried about this run's ability to reach the Elite Four. Only one run that's made it this far has failed to do so, and I'm not losing the plate again, but I really lack strong options for the Indigo Plateau this time. I'll need to get some good encounters and link in if I want to have a shot. I brace for fighting Gojo, which is an easy gauntlet. Reward is a meta type, and depending on speed stat, it's either an easy take for the Elite Four, or it's spend the rest of the run in the box. If it's speedy, you can roll both Lorelei and Bruno using a pre-damage reversal strategy. Unfortunately, I don't roll the right stats, and it's back to the drawing board for my Elite Four. Dude, I just can't have anything now. It's so crazy how, like, basically 3 IV/nature rolls sealed this game. Both of my electric types haven't been adamant. I just need one of them to survive for a good chance of Lorelei. Either Chinchu, or if Pikachu survives, I can trade it for Salac Berry and Medicine Scoops anyway. Silphica's Gauntlet is extremely long, featuring 28 fights and a single-use heal point that you can access before the final 3 fights. This part usually isn't a problem, especially with Brava, who can handle Grimers, Moltres, Magnemites, and Magatons. That's already like half the gauntlet. However, that's probably the gauntlet with the tightest resource management in the game. Here's the squad.
Daka.
I'm probably gonna have to commit my West TM It's always exactly Sonic with my very efficient technique there, at least.
Dinner time already.
Pretty bad. Not a cherry berries, right? I have one more. I don't need trophies right now, though. I can't really check it now. Wait, I don't have confusion! No! This thing is useless! Oh, this is really awkward. Remember when I was like, what am I gonna do another cherry berry for? Oh, but I actually don't have a good answer for this.
Oh.
Just not that.
Oops.
How sick is Tropius?
I'll do that and
Maybe
then
I should just commit a rest for. But
before I'll
I
end
think
things.
with bullies and things, I think saving the rest TM is probably the right move, right? If I went because I saved the rest TM, that's okay. Because I probably can't be dealing with them anyway. That's gonna be my logic. My quote. Was he faster than me? Nice. I think this is a whip. I can't reach the heal. How many digs do I have left? One. I kind of threw with the meta type roll. I don't have enough digs left. Need to kill 2 Magneton. Nice. Can't heal 1 for this. I almost have to. What else can I do? Sack and then waterfall, I guess? Yeah. Survival 1. Dude. Yeah, 2 more trainers. How do I beat this one? Oh, it's 2 more trainers. I can't win. I should probably commit.